Without further ado, we bring in our friend from Birds 365, Big Z, Zander Krause. He joins us now. How you doing, bro?
What's up, Sills? How you doing, brother?
All right, man. Talk of the day is the illustrious video. So, what does that represent to you?
The Philadelphia Eagles and Jalen Hurts are the face of the league, Sileo.
Okay. That's a great way to look at it. Dude, there is so much interest in watching what this guy does this year in this football team. That's exactly what that means, see? I don't think it's a bad thing. I think actually it's a good bullseye because you know what you're going to get? Clarity this year. Either the guy's going to pick up the offense or he's not. There's people on one side that say, take a look at the comments. I think that's a polarizing story for this year for the NFL and for that kid. I think that's a great thing.
Well, he's definitely a polarizing player. I don't know how he's gotten to that point to be this polarizing, but he's definitely polarizing. You know, people love to love him or they love to hate him. It's one or the other, you know. But, yeah, 16 million views still is pretty amazing. I think I saw something put out there. The two posts for the Seattle Seahawks winning the Super Bowl combined with their post and with ESPN's post got like 5 million. 16 million want to watch Jalen Hurts throw an interception in practice in August.
And by the way, the social media team was trying to accentuate Q on that play.
I think so too. Yeah,
that's exactly what it was, but it didn't land there.
Well,
it landed on Hurts.
I don't want it without being disrespectful. I think there's a level of or a lack of general intelligence among the vast majority of social media consumers that fall for stuff like that. I mean, even Emmanuel Acho, like, no disrespect to him, but it's like he's tweeting out, why did the Eagles post this? Like, you can't put Jalen Hurts. You can't. You think Jalen Hurts really can't have that posted? I mean, who gives a shit? I saw a video of Drake Maye throwing a pick. I saw a video of Josh Allen throwing a pick. I mean, come on, man. But I think it does show you how much people want to watch this Eagles team and watch Jalen Hurts. It's pretty amazing, man. By the way, we have to today. I will insert myself into your topic list today with some A.J. Brown talk in New England. I mean, Drake Maye's in for a rude awakening.
Why?
He really is.
Why?
Let me pull it up. I think I saved it so I can reference it.
Okay, so social media doesn't matter, but it matters for AJ now.
Listen.
All right.
Drake Maye got asked a question today about, keeping everybody happy. He says, Drake Maye said the best thing to keep his wide receivers happy is winning. Nobody really tries to complain when you win football games. I think nobody's really that prideful in this sport about personal stats when you're winning games. That's the exact quote today from Drake Maye. Now, I want to ask everybody a question.
And you're reading it.
Do you know the answer to this question, everybody?
Okay.
In the last 4 years of the National Football League, all of which A.J. Brown was a part of the Philadelphia Eagles, can anybody name to me the one team that had the best winning percentage in the entire league for the last 4 years?
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so you took that.
Do you have the answer?
You took that and you spun it where you're saying that AJ was not happy with winning. Is that what you're saying?
The answer to my question answers that question.
Okay. Here's why AJ Brown.
They were the winningest team in the answer to my question, which you don't want to answer, was the Eagles.
No, I know this. I know they're 50-18. Okay. But here's why AJ Brown is in New England and wants it all. Like when Dan Orlovsky comes out with arm strength, Drake Maye 7th. When he's talking about accuracy, Drake Maye is 2nd. And when he's talking about mechanics, Drake Maye is 8th. And when he's talking about decision making, he's got a quarterback that's 4th, according to him, and pocket presence. Drake Maye's number 1. The situation that I'm looking at is he wants winning and numbers. And that's why he wanted to go to New England. He wanted to play with a better quarterback and win. I mean,
I just want to let me give everybody a lesson in something. All right, today.
Okay.
While Sileo brings up the list from Dan Orlovsky today.
Yeah, got it right here.
And he ranked a bunch of quarterbacks by a bunch of different traits.
Right.
Okay. Let me just find it real quick.
I think it's on the cover, dude.
Dan Orlovsky. No, I saw that. I don't need to find that. I'm trying to find something else. Dan Orlovsky. Can anybody tell me who Dan Orlovsky is represented by? Let me give you all a little bit of a lesson in how this shit works. Dan Orlovsky is represented by CAA, the Creative Arts Agency. It's Jimmy Sexton and some of those guys, some of the biggest and best agents in all of football. Now, let me rattle off some quarterbacks to you who are represented by that same agency. Dak Prescott.
Okay.
Josh Allen. Matthew Stafford. Sam Darnold. Bryce Young. Drake Maye. And Bo Nix.
All right. That's
all
fair.
Guys who were included in Dan Orlovsky's list today.
Well, let me ask you then. Let's ask you the questions here on how he looked at these quarterbacks, and let me see where you put Jalen Hurts. Where would you put Jalen Hurts on accuracy and ball placement? Top 10?
Well, I think there is a level of, I mean, if you want to ask me to go through it, I'm not saying that Jalen should be top in all of them. You pointed out where Drake Maye was in all of them. I don't think Drake Maye should be at the top.
Well, Drake Maye is the quarterback that AJ, the reason he went to New England also was because he wanted to play.
That doesn't mean that.
Bro.
You think Drake Maye should be
You think he would go to New England if Jacoby Brissett was the starting quarterback?
Do you think Drake Maye should be at that high? I have a lot of respect for Drake Maye. I think he's a good quarterback. Do you think he should be that high?
Here.
He's had one really strong year.
Let's see here. Why they put Jaden Daniels up there like 1 year?
I told everybody pump the brakes on Jaden Daniels.
See, arm strength. See, the Caleb Williams love on this thing is arm strength, ball placement accuracy. He's got here's another one down here. Mechanics. You think that Caleb Williams has good mechanics throwing the ball at 55% completion percentage?
Well,
man, I don't think that. See,
I'm actually a Caleb Williams fan, but he's got a rain around.
Is mechanics, not me. Daniel Jones is mechanics. He had 7 decent games with the Colts. So this list, a lot of them. I said it when I went over the names. You could probably rearrange it any way you want. Okay, decision-making with the football, Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts being at 10, I don't know. I think decision-making, throwing the ball, I don't think he's very good at it. Decision-making, throwing the ball, and running, I think he's exceptional at it.
Well, do you count protecting the football as good decisions?
Yes.
Because I think in a way the Eagles have gone a little too far with the risk aversion.
Yes.
But I do think there is a level of Jalen, for the most part, has protected the football.
That's not a bad take by you, too, on the agency thing. It's totally true. It's true. No, but it is. It is. It is.
It's an interesting point. But, it doesn't, by the way, it doesn't mean that those quarterbacks that are represented by that agency aren't good players. But, you have a little bit of a reason to throw them in there. This guy or this guy, go to this guy. I think.
Bro, we see that on game day every Saturday with the CAA guys and how and who they promote when it comes to coaches.
So you know how that works, dude.
It is.
Talk about Drew all the time. Drew defends his guy. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what happens. It's all good.
That's a good poll by you because it's true.
But boy, you skated away from my take on Drake Maye and his comments.
I I think Drake Maye's got so much around him that's going to make him a really great player with Josh McDaniels, the organization. The players are going to put there. I like Mike Vrabel. I think he's a really – but Zander, you and I have been saying this kid looks great since he came out of Carolina. When he got drafted, we said we thought he was going to be a really good player. So we've been consistent on that, have we not?
Well, I think Drake, I think he's going to be a good player, but that's not what I'm addressing.
I mean, the second year he got a team to a Super Bowl. Second year starting, Jalen did too.
I'm not coming for Drake. I'm coming for the fact that Drake is still a young guy who's going to have to learn the hard way about the question he was asked today, which was, how do you keep everybody happy? I mean, he went on. I gave you the quote. He went on to continue to basically say, it's not my job to keep everybody happy. It's my job to move the football down the field, to be a good offense, to put the ball in the end zone, and to win football games.
He'll learn that.
Sounds like Jalen Hurts. Wait, Jalen, is that you? All that matters is winning foot.
Well, wait.
Drake?
Hold on. Dude.
Is that you?
Drake Maye.
Come on, Sills.
Drake Maye has never worked with one skilled guy like Hurts.
Oh, my gosh. So you're telling me Drake Maye's not going to have to learn the hard way?
That you think Drake Maye has had the same, or like Jalen Hurts has had some of the best and most gifted players the last 5 years on his roster. This guy had Stephon fucking Diggs.
What does that have to do with Drake?
Bro, he's a more skilled player than Hurts. He's a more skilled player.
Does that have to do with his comment today?
Nothing.
So why you're arguing a different point? I never said Drake's not a good player.
No.
Or AJ's not a good player.
He's going to get the ball to him on time. He's going to get the ball to him more.
So you think they're going to have their cake and eat it too in New England?
I do.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't.
Oh, of course. Like we thought that Milton Williams wouldn't live up to it either. Okay.
Oh, no, I never said Milton Williams wouldn't live up to it.
Okay. Well, why won't AJ live up to it up there?
He might live up to it. They're not going to win the amount of games they want to win. They're not going to go the distance the way they want to go the distance. Drake's already talking about
they play in the AFC.
Wait, listen to this comment. This specific sentence. I think nobody is really that prideful in this sport about personal stats when you're winning games. Are you telling me Drake Maye doesn't have some things to learn?
I'm telling you, he's answering that politically.
Yeah. Oh, Sileo, the spin.
Dude, he's a better player.
Master.
He's a better player.
Oh, man.
He's a better player than Hurts.
Drake, hold on tight, my guy.
Bro.
Hold on tight.
Welcome
to the A.J. Brown Show. The number one team in the last 4 years of winning football games.
He's a better player.
Is your Philadelphia Eagles.
They ain't changing. I can tell you this. They ain't changing offenses up there in New England.
Do I have to don't make me pull back up the spreadsheet I made about the top receivers in the last 4 years also. Because not only were the Eagles the winningest team in the last 4 years.
They ain't changing that New England
AJ
offense.
was the third most successful statistical wide receiver in the game the last 4 years.
Well, then why'd you get rid of him?
You tell me, because it's never enough for the guy.
Okay.
The guy can't be happy.
So your quarterback and your coach couldn't keep that guy on your team. All right.
Dude.
And now everyone is pumping up Darius Cooper like he's the next AJ.
I'm just telling you.
Even Nick Sirianni
has a lesson to learn.
Nick Sirianni downplayed that guy today. Whoa. We got a lot more football. You know why? That was office politics at its best right there.
I will make you a 100% guarantee.
Go ahead.
A.J. Brown.
We'll have 1,400 yards.
Together. I don't care. A.J. Brown and Drake Maye together will not come close to the level of team success or individual success together that Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown had the last 4 years.
I will make you an even better one than that. Devontae Smith and Jalen Hurts will never in a billion years have the same success.
Why are you spinning off AJ? Dude, you're like John McClellan right now.
You want to
criticize
give me a fucking bold prediction? I'll give you one.
Oh
Jalen
my
Hurts
gosh.
and AJ Brown will never have the same success that Brown and Hurts had together in Philadelphia. You want to do that one? I'll do that one too. Do you think AJ and Hurts are going to have more success? All right,
you ran away from my take.
Do you think AJ Brown and do you think that
you're like Patrick Starr right now, hiding under a rock?
Do you think Devontae Smith and Jalen Hurts are going to have more success than what AJ and Hurts did over the next 4 years?
That has nothing to do with my.
I'm asking you a completely different question.
No, but I think the team will be very successful continuously.
Okay, so you think
and as Jalen has often said, that's far more important.
Okay, so you think this year they're going to have more success as a team?
I didn't say more success. I think they're going to be a great team.
As successful? No drop off.
I think that would be a tough beat, honestly.
Okay,
that's how successful they've been the last 4 years.
How successful do you think this team's going to be this year without AJ on it?
Well, I mean, I think that's, you obviously are losing a great player, and you gotta try and get back there. It's never easy to replicate that level of success, which is part of the reason I said what I said about AJ and Drake Maye. The level of success that the Eagles achieved was so extreme. You're not going to find it many places.
Okay.
And that's why I say to Drake, you're going to have a lot to learn because they had some pretty incredible success.
We shall find that out because that'll be one of the question marks going into this year. As a matter of fact,
I got to find that.
I wrote down some questions here.
I got to find my spreadsheet.
I think this is going to be some question marks that you tell me, Zander. Do you not agree? 2026. Do you believe one of the biggest questions will be, can Jalen do it with the new offense? And do you what would your preseason answer be on that? Do you think that Jalen Hurts will do it with the new offense and be successful?
We got to get off that AJ topic quick. You're like McMullen. You're running away from that thing.
Because you're thinking what you're talking about is Fantasy Island. We'll find out.
Talking about Fantasy Island.
Yeah, because he makes a comment on August 13th. Bro, September's next month. We'll find out if that thing's going to play true or not. It's fantasy talk right now.
It's not fantasy talk.
Really? We'll see if they have success or not. You don't know.
The success that the Jalen and AJ had is now in the books. It's not an opinion.
Well, you have no idea. That's like saying the new coordinator is going to have success this year.
All right, so go back to my take.
Okay.
Do you think they'll have more success than Jalen and AJ had together?
I think they'll have more. I think they'll have more offensive success together. Yes, than they did a year ago.
Here, let me give you the numbers: 5,034 yards, 32 touchdowns, 3-time Pro Bowl, and 2-time All-Pro, plus a 3-year, $96 million contract for AJ Brown. Playing
you're in a lesser division. You've got a better play caller, and you got a better pocket quarterback. It gives him all the resources to try to go out and do it. Hey, by the way, we'll find out how good Devontae is by himself this year. We really will.
I'm not worried about Devontae.
Okay. Guys never made a Pro Bowl, and he'll be. Let's see. I can't wait.
Well, I mean, things obviously change when you go from playing next to AJ to obviously being the lone guy. I don't think the Eagles. Answer me this. It's fair to say, will Devontae replicate what AJ did? Does Devontae have the same circumstances? Because I'll tell you what helped AJ Brown, having Devontae Smith on the other side.
No question.
So Devontae doesn't have that type of number two.
Nope. No, he does not. Everything is about the unit. You're totally right. AJ Brown put up great numbers, dude. Because why? Because he had a great unit around him. There's no question. Hey, you're sitting there saying this. AJ Brown and Drake Maye, you're leading to, and tell me if I'm wrong, that Drake May's got a lot to learn on how to deal with AJ Brown. Is that what you're inferring?
I'm inferring that it's very hard, almost impossible to achieve the level of team and individual success that Jalen and AJ had together, and AJ was still miserable. Drake is saying that Team success
Okay.
will supersede anybody's individual desire for statistics.
He was
I think he's
miserable
going to-
because he played with that quarterback.
I think Drake Maye has a tough lesson to learn
Okay.
coming up.
Again, we'll find out.
The A.J. Brown show.
35 days away. We will find out. By the way, I think they got 33 days because they're playing on Wednesday
night
of this year. Absolutely, man. I can't wait to see. Football's tonight, also tomorrow.
Yeah, there's 4 games tonight, dude.
Yeah. A 6. There's 6 games. Hey, dude. Let me go here with Lemon. Do you think they're playing office politics right now by not pumping up Darius Cooper too much? Because what they don't want to do is push this guy, because if he starts and Lemon is healthy to play, why wouldn't you play the guy who's having the better camp?
Yeah, well, I think camp is different than games. I mean, the difference to me with this year is that Cooper isn't a proven player. Like last year, I wish the Eagles, I hope the Eagles will look at Lemon the same way they looked at
Cooper?
Jordan Davis.
Okay.
The same way they looked at Jahad Campbell. The same way they looked at Nolan Smith. The same way they looked at most of their other first-round picks, which was, you are not and will not be defined by what you accomplish in year one. Jahad Campbell was sent to the bench last year in the middle of the year, by the way, when he was having a pretty good year, in favor of Nakobe Dean. So if the games come and Darius Cooper is actually the player that gives your team the best chance to win, I would hope that the Eagles would not shy away from putting him on the field. I don't believe they will. I understand the nature of the NFL. But again, I just named you a couple circumstances where the Eagles did not. They did have some patience with their players. They did give them the space. Jordan Davis wasn't playing a lot his first year. Remember, Fletcher Cox was still on the team, if I remember correctly. Jalen Carter, I think, was a different story because he was so talented. Quinyon Mitchell, same thing. They didn't really have the bona fide corner. Quinyon jumped right into the mix. Campbell went to the bench. Nolan took a couple years to become that guy. Have the patience with Makai. I don't understand what this infatuation with he has to be the number 3 or on the field right now because we drafted him this year. He missed all of camp. He might be or may not be. I don't know this to be true. He may or may not be struggling with the playbook. He certainly hasn't practiced, the implementation of the playbook because he's not on the field. It's one thing to read a sheet of paper, and listen in meetings. It's another thing to go out there and do it. So I think they need to exercise patience here. And remember, they're in the Super Bowl window. When you're in a Super Bowl window, it's like pushing all your chips in the middle of the table. You don't hold, you don't look for different opportunities. You play to win the game. You play to put yourself in the best position right here and right now. You can't think 2, 3, 4 years into the future when you're trying to win a Super Bowl, And I hope that's the way they handle it. I think there are a little bit of politics being played, but I don't think they're not saying anything about Cooper yet. I don't know. I mean, he did have an interview today. I think his wife and his mother were there at practice supporting him, which is cool.
He was also at the presser. I loved the kid, man.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a great mentality. I mean, his answer to being asked about everybody giving him praise, I thought was pretty good.
Yeah.
And I think even more important than that, I mean, shit, the podium is one thing. I think the guy's got a flat out good skill set. Yeah. Like you said, dude, sometimes it doesn't matter where you're drafted or how tall you are, how fast you are, or what you look like, or sometimes you just line up and you can just play ball. Yep. You're just a ball player. Yep. And I get that feeling from Cooper. Now, I'm not the arbiter of truth on talent evaluation or any of those things, but I do think Darius Cooper has what it takes to be successful. Jalen likes him. Seemingly is having a great camp. I mean, the other thing I liked hearing the other day was it's not one type of plays that he's winning on. It's in routes, out routes, go balls, cutbacks, hitch routes, slant routes, everything. He's doing well out there. I like to hear that. And he also plays with the type of physicality that I think this team is going to need.
And mentality.
With life after AJ. AJ Brown was a big body physical receiver. You've talked all summer about how this team is a finesse team. Darius Cooper plays physical. Darius Cooper plays with, I got good hands, and I'm going to go and catch the ball and fend you off. I think this team is going to need that. Think about this group. I think Devontae is more physical than he gets credit for, despite being undersized. But Smitty, Lemon, Wicks, Brown, that's a lot of smaller guys. You know what I mean? I think having that physical type of dude is a good thing out there. Now, Wicks apparently is being pretty physical in camp. I like it. And Devontae, I think, like I said, is more physical than people give him credit for. But I hope if Darius Cooper has earned the spot, then he's put out there to go and play ball. And then if he can't do it, all right, then that's a different conversation.
I'm going to give you a comparison that I think he reminds me of. And this is going to come off way over the top. Man, he reminds me of a Steve Smith kind of guy. Like, Steve Smith was just an asshole. Get into fist fights in practice, knock guys out in the run game. Was just like a man out there. He reminds me a lot of Steve Smith Sr., dude. Like that tough fucking guy that just goes out there and he's just, man, I mean, I don't care where I was drafted. I don't care where you were drafted. I don't care what you think. I'm just going to go out there and we're going to go. Like when that guy competes, he doesn't give a shit if it's Q or a guy named Queen. He don't care. He's going out there and competing. And I like that mentality in a guy, especially when you're talking about a receiver like that and a receiver that plays with that kind of what Prince just said, that no shit kind of player kind of guy. Yeah. Hey, dude, you want to fuck with me? I'm going to fight you. That is what I'm getting from him. And I think he's fighting his way up that depth chart. And if Nick knows the kind of players that he had when he was at Mount Union and the kind of player maybe Nick was, I think Nick said something in that presser today that impressed me. He said he had elite hands. He said, that guy's got elite hands.
Well, you don't have 1,500 college yards. I don't care where you're playing without some pretty good hands.
Yeah, but
so he definitely does.
Dude, one position.
Do you think the NFL has gotten too far from that mentality? Like, let me explain what I mean. It's gotten so like prima donna, like pretty boy. Like you got to have the top draft spot. Like we used to have Seth Joyner on our channel, and Seth Joyner used to talk all the time about. I was drafted. I think he was an 8th round pick, if I'm not mistaken. Seth Joyner,
at a UTEP.
At a UTEP, I didn't give a fuck who was drafted in front of me. I was working my ass off every day to get on the field, and every opportunity I had, I seized the moment. I never was going to let my draft positioning stop me from achieving what I wanted to achieve. And it feels kind of like, I mean, maybe not in every circumstance. I mean, you still see, later round picks, but I don't know. It just feels like the NFL just is getting more away from the merit-based approach. Because, look, the money's getting bigger. The stakes are getting higher. You now have the Cowboys valued at $15 billion. Quarterbacks are making $65 million now. Wide receivers are making $35 million now. Feels like that's it's going away.
I'll tell you why. Back in the day, Zander, you could find a Seth Joyner in the 8th round. You could find a Moro Jomo in the 7th round. Because of transfer portal and nil, the money that's being spent on evaluating these kids, where are the kids all being drafted? I made a point to you in the last 3 years. Do you know how many non-Power 5 kids have been drafted in the 1st round from non-Power 5 schools? 3. That's 93 picks. And Q's one of them. That's 93 picks. You're talking in the last 3 years in the 3 drafts.
Crazy, man.
Because you know why? If you're not drafted in that that hierarchy of the 1st round and you're those guys, you're going to get the first opportunities. A guy like here's what you're saying. All the major colleges missed on Darius Cooper. All the major NFL teams missed on Darius Cooper. And the Eagles got it right. How did they get it right? Remember something. The Eagles passed on him 7 times too. So, I mean, you mean we all got it wrong on Cooper? Do you understand the ego that goes into that? That if you've got a player that you missed on and all of a sudden you guys have a player here that you're going to start over a 17th pick in the draft. That's big time visual failure. Hey, dude, if Darius Cooper rolls out against the Commanders as your number 3 wideout and Makai Lemon standing on the sidelines with a cup of ice in his hand, that's not a good look.
Yeah, well, I get it. But, you know, I don't know. I guess my rage of the day. But they're calling me a socialist in the chat now. But that's really, I meant the opposite. You know, I think meritocracy is a key point.
No, you want to run your football team like Vic runs his football team.
Yeah. But that's
put the best guy out there.
That's pie in the sky, Sileo.
Absolutely. Hey, I want to here. Listen, do you not agree? We talked a little bit about the first question here. It's going to be whether or not Hurts can pick up the new offense. Also, too, if Mannion is the guy, if Chris Cooper is not the big fall off from Jeff Stoutland, if Makai Lemon will be a future star, if Jalen Carter has a bounce back, if Jake Elliott has good weather this year, maybe he'll kick better.
That was the worst comment of the week.
If Jordan Davis is actually going to turn himself into a 3-down player this year.
And if Drake Maye will be able to put up with A.J. Brown's bullshit.
Yeah, we will find that out. I'll tell you what, who do you think AJ's going to respect more? Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels or Nick Sirianni and Sean Mannion?
Well, I guess you would say Vrabel. But
why wouldn't you not say Vrabel and Josh McDaniels? Josh McDaniels got 6 Super Bowl rings.
Well, Josh McDaniels has the success. That's fair. Mike Vrabel can't hold the candle to what success Nick Sirianni's had as a head coach. That doesn't mean Mike's not a good coach. But I mean, what makes you say that? Just the macho big.
No. I saw him take a. Did he? Let me double check here. And like you said, Coach of the Year doesn't matter. Well, somebody check. Did Vrabel take that Titans team to the AFC Championship game? I thought he took the Titans. I'm not sure. I thought they went either to the divisional round or they went to the AFC Championship game. I'm not sure if they got to an. I thought he took them kind of far one year.
Was it that far? Mike Vrabel.
Did they, or was it the divisional round that he took? Maybe it was a divisional round. I think they got beat by Kansas City in that playoff game that they were up and they came back. Yeah, that's it.
I mean, they've been pretty good. They had 3 playoff appearances in his 6 seasons in Tennessee.
That's right.
They won the division in 2021, and they reached the AFC title game in 2019.
The Titans. Right.
Yeah.
That's right, Deshae. They blew a 20-point
won the
lead.
Coach of the Year in 21.
That's right. They had a 20-point lead on the Chiefs, and they blew it. Yeah. Dude, I think he's a good coach. I really do.
Yeah, I like Mike.
You think Jalen Hunt's a better ball player right now than Nolan Smith?
He appears to be playing better. I don't know I think he's definitely a better pass rusher. I'm not sure on the 3-down thing. I mean, Nolan does that pretty well. He sets the edge well, can drop into coverage, plays the run well, can still get after the passer when he's healthy. I think Nolan has kind of – it's like one of those things where he's good at everything, but he's not great at one thing, so he doesn't jump out as much. And I think he kind of flies under the radar. But I think Jalix is on his way to a contract faster than Nolan is for sure.
Huh. Okay. Jonathan Grenard. You think he's going to be an impact player on his team this year?
I don't know, dude. I have no clue. 29-year-old guy, had a down year last year. Went from double-digit sacks 2 years in a row to 3 sacks last year. Now out early in the season with a pec. Obviously, if it heals, should be all good, but it is one of those things that could linger or even get worse. I think he'll be – if he's out there, I think he'll be good because I think Vic is the guy to put him in the best position to succeed. But I'm a little concerned on the age and the health. But if he's out there, I'm going to say yes.
Let me ask you like a couple before we get Howard at the bottom of the hour. Let me ask you this on Wondolowski when he looks at players and quarterbacks and he looks at tangibles of them. What do you make of Jalen's arm strength?
I think his arm strength's good. I mean, I don't think it's great. I think it's fine though. I've never, I don't know. You see a lot of those like Jalen, he underthrew it, so his arm strength's bad. That to me, that's not arm strength. That's timing. That's Jalen can make every throw from a strength perspective. So I think it's middle of the pack, but I think it's fine.
Yeah, I would put him in the top 15. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think so.
Closer to 10?
Yeah, I think so. I'd have to look a little further at it. I mean, to be honest, it's not one of those traits.
I want to be fair here. I'm going to say closer to 10. Not
yeah, I think that's fair. I think
closer to 15. Yeah. Okay. Somewhere in there. What do you think of like accuracy and ball placement? Where do you think he ranks? Top 10?
I think the problem here is just the inconsistency. I've seen him have some pretty awesome ball placement. I'll point to 22, the Super Bowl. I get it a long time ago, but I mean, some of his ball placement in that game was like literally incredible. I mean, I still that catch is seared in my head. That throw to Dallas Goedert, cutting across the middle on the right sideline, that Jalen just dotted over a linebacker, literally perfect throw. But then you obviously do have moments where it's not as good, and he's not really a rhythm timing quarterback like that. So probably average, middle of the pack.
Yeah, I would say closer to 15 on this one. How about mechanics? Feet, smooth motion, strong base, great feet in the pocket. Top 10?
Probably not, because he's always been a dual threat. Guys that have to have great mechanics are guys that can't escape the pocket that easily. Look at guys like Jared Goff. Look at guys like Brock Purdy. Look at guys like that. I mean, Joe Burrow's obviously got, freaking exceptional mechanics. But I don't think I'd put Jalen top 10 in that.
Okay. Decision making. They do have him in the top 10 here. And I personally think he should be a little higher.
I do too. At 10, I thought was a little low.
Okay. And I actually think Mahomes and him are low. I mean, if I had to look at decision making, you see Lamar at 7. I think Jalen Hurts is a better decision maker in games. Here, check this out. I think Jalen Hurts is a better decision maker in games than Josh Allen, than Jordan Love, than Dak Prescott, and Lamar Jackson. That doesn't mean
that goes into me to the comment you used to make about him being a smart player on the field. Yeah. I agree with that.
Like if I were going to rank him as a decision-making quarterback out of these guys, Josh Allen, Stafford, Love, May, Daniels, Dak Prescott, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, and Jalen Hurts, I would put Stafford 1, Mahomes 2, Hurts 3, and then you could fill them in, the rest of them. You think Joe Burrow does a good job at keeping himself healthy? No. You think Lamar does a good job in games where he makes decision-making error throws in playoff games? No. Dak in playoff games. That's decision-making. Jaden Daniels, keeping yourself healthy. I mean, I don't see that. I would really put Jalen Hurts, Stafford, Mahomes, and Hurts in that 3. And you know what? To me, dude, decision-making is what wins you ball games. Arm talent doesn't. Fucking with this other shit. Some of this other stuff here. Ball placement.
I think it does. I do think it's fair to say that what you said is true, but like last year, the Eagles did need more of Jalen to put his mark on a game, and I think Nick is kind of, Nick's philosophy has maybe.
I don't think they helped him last year.
Yeah, I don't think they did, especially with the risk aversion. I get it. It's a big part of it, but I think there's a kind of a fine line you walk there where you're going to have your quarterback, seeing ghosts and being timid with the ball. Like Elizabeth says here, he's smart. My one criticism is that he holds the football too long. I think we can all agree to that. He holds the football really long, but I do wonder, is some of that because just
Yeah.
never wants to turn the ball. You know what I mean? Now,
Yep.
so
Yep.
with that comes some good decisions, but it also comes moments where it's the NFL and there's going to be tight windows and you've got to fit that ball in there sometimes. And I think, Nick has kind of coached that out.
Yeah, but I think he plays the Brady perception game there. If I throw that into tight coverage and into double coverage right there versus me taking a sack, what's better for my unit? Taking the 5-yard loss or throwing it into coverage to potentially lose field position and possession? I'd rather take the sack. That's decision making, and I think that's a smart way to play.
That's a luxury, though.
It is.
And that's a luxury for people, for quarterbacks. And I'm okay with this. But for when you have a great defense or, you have a great run game for, say, and that's fine. I think you need luxuries to win big in the NFL, but not every quarterback can do that. They have to push the ball.
Don't you agree that Hurts has lost a little of this second reaction ability? And this comes down to his running ability. The one thing that really got him out of problems that made just headaches for DCs, taking off on 3rd and long, making a play on 3rd and long. His second reaction play. He's gotten away from making that second reaction play, hasn't he? Like, he used to make those, like Zander, if the play wasn't working, he would make up for it somehow, or he would make that first down. He would move the sticks. And I think the last couple of years, that's gotten away from it a little bit. Am I wrong?
No, I don't think you're wrong about that. I think that's a part of it, but
you think they want to bring that back this year with more design runs?
100%. I mean, I think Jalen knows that. You're seeing the reports come out of practice that, he's looking faster and everything. So, yeah, I think that's coming back.
Why are so many Eagle fans so sensitive over Hurts?
Eagle fans are sensitive people. They were sensitive before Hurts, too. They'll be sensitive after him. I know because I'm one of all you fuckers, so don't get mad at me, all right? It's like one of those things, Sills. We can criticize our team, but you can't criticize our team. That's kind of how it is, I think.
Dude,
I think there's another thing, too, though. Jalen is, as I mentioned yesterday, is part of a representation of a fan base and a city that's been starved for great sports success and really has never achieved it in a long time at the level or in a way that's been as meaningful as some of their rival destinations or some of the other big sports cities. And Jalen, I was talking to my uncle about this. One of my uncles, not my Uncle Frank. You guys know about my Uncle Frank, but another uncle. And he's like, dude, I've been watching Eagles for 40 years. Like, I really don't care that people don't think Jalen Hurts is that good. I fucking love watching the Eagles win this many games. I love it. I love being in the playoffs every year. I love going to 2 Super Bowls. I love winning one. Like, dude, I could care less about the arm and this and that. I'm just enjoying Eagles football right now. And Jalen being the quarterback of that era, I think has created naturally and rightfully so a portion of people who are like, what are we really focused on here? Would you rather have the McNabb era again, who might have been more talented, but we didn't have as much to show for it? Would you rather, get bounced earlier? Would you rather not win as much as other teams or as the Eagles are? So I think that's a part of it too. And I think that combined with Eagle fandom and Philadelphia passion creates the recipe that we have, where you have 16 million views on a practice pick, Sills.
How about this? And I'm going to compare it to Hurts here in a second. Let me ask you this. 10 years from now, who do you think is going to be perceived better by Packer fans? Favre or Rodgers?
That's a good question. Probably Rodgers because I don't know. maybe Favre.
People
You think
can
some of the stuff that Favre got involved in, some of the assholery will impact that a little bit?
No. I think Packer fans will look at Favre as more relatable than what Rodgers was,
dude.
Because you know why? He's got he's fallible, dude. He makes mistakes. He's like you and me. He's more like you and me than Rodgers is. Plus,
what did Favre do again that was real fucked up?
It was something to do with the Mississippi. He took
it was not welfare, wasn't it?
It was like a welfare loan that he took for
dude, I don't know, man. I don't think people have. I don't know. That's kind of.
I don't know. If you watch him talk about and going after Dr. Fauci, Aaron Rodgers, and all that other shit, with all the stuff going after like Jimmy Kimmel and all that.
I mean, with all due respect, did anybody see? And not to get political here, but like, that's a little more reasonable than having a welfare state. I mean, Dr. Fauci's out there saying that there's zero risk. There's zero risk for pregnant people. And now the studies come out, and Fauci knew about it, that, your chance of a miscarriage was like way through the roof if you took the vaccination, and Fauci hit it. Like, dude, you're a doctor. That's unethical.
I completely agree 100%.
So Rodgers calling that out, to me, I don't have a problem. I mean, maybe some people who are more liberal would have a problem with that. Okay. But I don't think that's the same thing as stealing welfare money. Like that, I'm a Favre fan in terms of football. Dude, that's fucked up.
It is.
What are we doing here?
I know.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not relatable to me.
No.
I think you're a fucking asshole.
Yep, absolutely.
So I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's true and what's not, to be honest. I never really read too far into it. But
how do you think Hurts will be received and revered in years to come? You think he'll be revered? You think he'll be revered as a caboose, a star?
No,
legend, or what?
No.
You think You think he'll be
revered? I think he's another Super Bowl win away from being immortalized into legendary in Philadelphia. But let's just play out the Sileo doomerism. If he doesn't get another contract and it ends this year, and they have, I don't know, they get bounced or whatever. I think he'll be highly regarded, but I don't think he'll be perceived as like one of the best in Philly. I don't know. It's tough to say. It's pretty tough to say right now.
Who do you think?
I almost need the benefit of hindsight to be able to give you a good answer.
Who do you think fans will receive better, Sirianni or Favre? Or excuse me, Sirianni or Hurts?
Hurts. Yeah, Hurts. But to be fair, I think both of them should be received well. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, we can get mad at them as Philly fans for things that didn't go right. Neither of those guys should ever have to pick up a tab, as somebody says here in the chat, in Philadelphia. I mean, come on, guys. They were the quarterback and the coach of the team where we all were paraded down Broad Street. I did it with half of you guys together in Philly.
Yep.
I mean, they have a bad 2025, so you're not going to, I think both of them should be remembered, or at least perceived very highly. They will be by me. I can't speak for everybody else.
Before we get to Howard Balzer, let's read some of these super chats if we can here.
I think we only have a couple. I don't know if you're going to like some.
Oh, I like them all.
Ramir says, "Damn, why do you keep saying he left to play with a better quarterback?" No, he left because Barkley took his shine. He knew about Hurts' arm already and still picked the Birds. Well, he didn't pick us, I guess, did he?
No,
he got traded here. Again, I hate to do it to you, Sileo, but I pulled up the spreadsheet. In the last 4 years,
he wanted to play with a better quarterback.
Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee, and A.J. Brown. So again, I say to you.
And why did he want out?
Will A.J. Brown and Drake Maye even come close to not only the team success, but the individual success that he had with Jalen Hurts and the Eagles? 5,034 yards, 32 touchdowns, 2-time All-Pro, 3-time Pro Bowler, and a Super Bowl ring.
And do you know why he went to New England? because of the next guest we have
Because
on.
he's a cis pot, dude.
No, you know why? See the next guest we have coming on? When that guy adds them up in a room and they've got to look at overall stats and team success, that's going to matter on a resume.
Well,
if I'm getting targets and I'm getting catches.
How's 5K in 4 years with 3 Pro Bowls and 2 All-Pros?
If winning matters, you think
that's my point is,
hold on.
I don't think it doesn't get as much
You
better.
think
AJ made it seem like he was a bottom of the league receiver.
You think Amendola, Edelman are ever getting to the Hall of Fame? No. One guy's Super Bowl MVP, got 3 rings. And it's got most catches of he has more catches than Jerry Rice in the postseason. He ain't getting in unless he buys a ticket from Howard Balzer.
Howard can't be bought. Leon says Sil's rage baiting right now. It's confirmed. Yeah, he's been rage baiting all day. Here's Curtis. Zander, can you read the May quote and then follow it up with AJ? I can't wait. I hope you ask Howard about this. Here's the Drake Maye quote one more time. Drake Maye on how to keep all his receivers happy this year. Winning. Nobody really tries to complain when you win games. I think nobody's really that prideful in this sport about personal stats when you're winning games. Drake Maye has a lot to learn. The winningest team in football the last 4 years is your Philadelphia Eagles, everybody. AJ Brown's Super Bowl post was basically about, I don't know, Curtis, about how it wasn't what he wanted it to be. Well, he likes lining up and beating the other man. Here's Hangry Dogs. The classic Big Sills deflection. You got him off on the rope. Z, time to go off the top rope.
It's August 13th. It's wishful thinking combo.
Here's Prince. What's up, Prince? Zander, you are in fatality mode. Finish him. You know he can't run. Spin master will deflect, call a friend, or talk about something else rather than admit what you're talking about.
Just keep sitting there and keep posting away there, princess.
And here's one more. Riot says, Z, can't wait till week 1 for my first trip to Philly. Hope to see you and the rest of JAKIB Nation. Josh, it's going to be awesome, dude. Home opener, tailgate. What are we, a month away? Yeah, it's August 13th. Eagles play September 13th.
You got, is there a Birds 365 tonight?
Yeah, tonight.
Make sure you guys listen, and you can have John talk about that interception today that Hurts threw. You can talk about practice today here with John McMullen. Birds 365.
Face of the league, Sileo.
There you go. 16.3 million views on an interception. That's right. I'm going to ask
how women lie, numbers don't.
There you go. That's why AJ's in New England. Love you, dog. Appreciate you.
Too, man. Later.
Man. I'll talk to you later.